Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today as we bring you episode 2 of Live Chats at OBLC. Hi, I'm Anisha from Oman Book Lovers Club. Before we get started, a quick introduction. Oman Book Lovers Club was founded for the sheer love for books and reading, to borrow, share, exchange books, and meet fellow book lovers. And since then, it has transitioned into so much more. It has been an enriching experience connecting book lovers across Oman. The Facebook group is 1,300 plus members strong, each member an authentic book lover residing in Oman, connecting anyone and everyone who belongs to the world of books and the love for reading in Oman, as well as the Instagram account, which connects more around 2,000 people now, including people from Oman as well as across the globe. Today, we are here with Najma, who will be joining us shortly, as we bring you the episode 2 of season 2 of Live Chats at OBLC, which is a women's audition launched in March, Voices of Women. It began with a small idea, an endeavor to bring value to the members and the literary community in some way, connecting writers and readers. And we are very proud and delighted to bring the season 2 across to our viewers. We are here bringing you today the episode 2. Let me also take this opportunity to remind you that we have the giveaway still running for an author signed copy of Najma's book on our Instagram account. Do participate now if you haven't yet. The giveaway closes at 8:30 p.m. today, exactly half an hour from now, and the winner will be chosen by the author herself at the end of this live chat. So let's bring Najma on. Hi, Najma. Good evening.
Hi,
Najma,
how are
can you
you?
hear me? I'm very good, and I'm super
Yeah, but your
delighted
voice
to
comes
have
in
you with
late.
me here today. Oh, we have a slight lag.
Yeah,
Is it better? Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah? Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Najma, um, we have given a brief introduction of you in our previous post, but I think I would like to kickstart this conversation requesting you to tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what do you do, the person behind the author, really, because for the rest of the chat, we are going to talk to the author. So, let's start with getting to know you a little bit.
Okay, my name is Najma, and I like to go with my name only because I don't want to be associated with anything else. Especially that I came out with a book. So I like to go by that. I am still studying actually. I'm in my last year in the university. I have one semester left, and what I'm studying is completely different than my passion, but it's not necessarily that's something I don't like. I'm studying logistics in the business world.
Interesting.
My true passion, I say, if I was in a parallel universe, maybe I would study English literature. I love English literature so much. Yeah, but still, I still like what I do. I've been writing since so long, since I was very young. But I think we'll get to that more later.
Yeah.
I write, I like to read, although I have been going through a reading slump, but I'm getting back to it. And I like sports as well. I like traveling, you know, the usual. Yeah.
Lovely. Right. Great. Before we move on to the next question, let's say hello to a few people who have joined the live and are saying hello. Hi from Dinesh here. Hello, Dinesh. Thank you for joining. We have Rida from KSA. Thank you, Rida, for joining in. Um, you might like to say hello to people who are saying hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trupti, thank you. Excited to meet. Nazakat says hello too.
Hi, Nazakat.
and Manasa. Thank you all for joining and saying hello. It's really nice to see you all. Okay, so without further ado, let us start talking about. Oh, yes, there's a good evening from Vaibhavi also.
Oh,
Thank you guys for a
good evening.
motivational hello. Thank you. Okay, so we would like to know that's what we're here for to know about your journey as a poet. What made you venture on the path of writing? We will talk about publishing the book later, but this is more
Mm-hmm.
about what made you venture on the path of writing. Like you mentioned, you have been writing since an early age, but
Yeah.
when did you start writing, and what motivated you to, you know, to start talk about the since when did you start writing poems and all of that?
As I said, I started at a very young age. Actually, for as far as I can remember, it started out because my dad travels a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I would write him letters that he reads. I mean, he
Yeah.
wouldn't receive it when he's outside the country. When he comes back, he reads those letters. But I would still write those letters, and I would like put
How
doodles on the
so?
side. Yeah,
Yeah.
that transitioned into writing comics and doing art.
Wow.
And
Hmm.
then during school, like middle school, we started practicing like writing letters, stories, and essays, and things like that.
Hmm.
My teacher, I'm very grateful for my teachers. My English teachers have been a really great support system since a young age. All my English teachers, no exception. They have also pushed me into participating into essay competitions as well. And I think from there that gave me the strength to,
Hmm.
pursue it more. And whenever I would submit my work, they would pull
Hmm.
me aside and ask me, are you interested maybe in journaling? Because we
Hmm.
see you having a career in journaling because
Hmm.
you're really good at it. But
Right.
journaling didn't really stick out to me. And at that time, I was in middle school. I didn't
Yeah.
really know what else you can do with writing. Is
Yeah.
it uh, is it just journaling, or is there something else?
Hmm.
Fast forward, when coming to high school, I came to understand it more, and I understood that. And we started learning English literature at that time. We started learning poems and stories and analyzing and everything of that sort.
Hmm.
That I feel connected me with writing. I felt like this is what I like doing. I don't want to write articles, I want to
Hmm.
express. It didn't start out as writing poetry. It was
Hmm.
stories mostly. I would
Hmm.
stay up until 3 a.m. writing stories. That's
Yeah.
how it was going through to high
Yeah.
school. And participating in competitions as well. I've participated in one competition, I don't know if you know. It's called Pen Thoughts here in Oman, in
Oh, lovely.
the memory of Ali Mehdi. Yeah,
Okay.
that's, and I participated with the poetry actually. That was my first poem that I wrote and I went out with, and I got second place.
Okay.
At that
Lovely.
time, I used to write and keep it to myself. At that time, I started telling some friends of mine, and they encouraged me, why don't you publish your work? Why don't you make it public?
Wow.
I was like, yeah, why not? I didn't really take it seriously. But then towards of the end of the high school, I was like, okay, I can do something about it. I was just accumulating poems one after the other.
Yeah.
That's how it happened. It's the
Hmm.
support system that I had, and the love of writing from a young age.
How lovely. So,
Yeah.
my next question was going to be let us talk about your book. Tell us how it happened, which you have partly covered. But yeah, if there's anything more you would like to add about exactly how you got put together all this lovely collection of poems. And by the way, I forgot to thank you for this lovely copy. Thank you for this. I have been
I hope
enjoying.
you're enjoying the book.
Yes, yes, I am. So yeah, I mean, the next question we will move on to the publishing process. But in the book, tell us a little bit more about how exactly were you able to, collect the whole myriad of emotions, as you say. And so the whole collection of poems was written over a period of time. I guess.
Yeah, it started, I think, since I was, let's say, 15, 16.
Hmm.
That's when it started out. I would
Hmm.
just write and keep it to myself in my notes. And
Yeah.
at first, when I started discussing about publishing a book, I was talking to my friend, I remember, a
Hmm.
few of my friends that I usually go to for advice. I
Hmm.
was conflicted between three options. Should I publish a poetry book? Should I
Hmm.
publish a self help book? Or should I publish short stories, a collection of short stories?
Hmm.
But most of the responses were poetry. So I focused my writing on poetry.
Hmm.
And I have come across some poems that I really liked, and I have come across some poems that I didn't really like because it didn't give me that feeling of, oh, I'm reading a poem. It made it feel like I'm reading something someone else wrote, as in it looks like it's a caption or a tweet, you know?
I know what
So
you mean.
when I read, yeah, when I read something similar to that, I was like, I will focus on not being like that, you know, because then you
Yeah.
lose the beauty of the poetry. If you
Yeah.
just keep writing short things and calling it poems, it loses its beauty. So I also tried to focus on, when I was writing it for myself, I would write freely. I would have
Yeah.
like a first draft, and then after some time, I would go back and check, maybe I want to add something, I want to change. So it was a process. Some of
Hmm.
them took some time, some of them just happened. And it would happen at the most random times, you know. I could be in the middle of studying and I would get something, in the middle of doing something. I don't necessarily sit down
Yeah.
and, okay, now I'm going to write. Because when that happens, I usually get a writer's block.
Yeah. I
So
understand.
that was that. Accumulated the poems, and then when I set my mind that I'm going to publish a book, my thought process was, I hope at least one person can read this and feel like they can relate. You know,
Yeah.
I want people to feel like they're not alone. And it doesn't have to be interpreted from my way. It can be interpreted in the reader's way.
True.
That was my purpose. I felt, it's important because it feels nice, you know, when you know someone out there can understand what you're going through without even have to
Yeah.
talk about it. Also,
True.
like, if one person reads this book and has a change of thought, or it impacts them positively, it's a good thing, because change starts with one person, and one person makes up a part of the community.
Yeah.
So that was the thought process of it
Yeah.
until the publishing.
Before we go on to that, let's say hello to more people who have left comments and been encouraging us. Rohit is our regular. Yeah, Rohit says
Hi.
hello. Hi. There's Fadila from Algeria from my LinkedIn. Thank you for
Hi,
joining.
Fadila.
Nizakat says he's excited to know more about your journey. Thank you, Nizakat.
Oh, very sweet.
Yeah. And the some comments keep appearing as you're speaking. So I think these are reactions to what you just said. Um,
Okay.
yeah. I'm very excited to bring on Caroline Frost. Hi, Caroline. Thank you so much for joining. She is part of season two and she's appearing on episode four of this season. So,
Thank you,
really happy.
Caroline, for joining.
Yeah. The drive to tell stories is powerful. Such a beautiful comment. Thank you, Caroline. It's really nice to
You
see you. And then we have more members. Benazir says hello. Hi, Benazir. Thanks for
okay? I see the
joining.
comment. Hi, Benazir.
We have Pink Tulip. I don't know what the name is, but thank you for joining
Thank
Pink
you.
Tulip. Rukia is also one of our regular members. All right,
Hi.
let's go on to the next. Um, yeah. So, the very interesting part about the whole journey of being an author, and this is something we have been talking about with every author we have interviewed on our live chats, because this was a question that appeared a lot from our audience in the first few episodes, and we realized that in our book club and in our followers, there are a lot of aspiring authors in Oman, across the globe, from different countries. and even residents in Oman who may hail from different countries. So this was a common theme of a lot of questions in the very first few chats. What it takes to be a published author. I myself learned about the concepts of traditional publishing, self publishing, and all through these conversations, and especially what it's like in Oman. Like I shared with you the other day, I think Amar Al Naimi, when I was talking to him, I learned a lot about the publishing scenario in Oman. So let's hear from you about how your journey went. When you decided you like with your friends motivation when you decided you're going to publish a book, exactly what happened after that?
I think it was in 2019 that I reached out to a publishing company. But before that, um, I didn't know anything. I was very confused and lost. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to publish? I had no idea about anything. So I went searching on the internet. I didn't know who to ask here, honestly,
Hmm.
and I didn't know any writer,
Hmm.
any Omani writers. And I think most of the publishers that I would hear about that are Omani usually publish in Arabic. And
Right,
my book is in English. Yeah, so I
right.
found it difficult. So I just browsed through the internet, I'd read, and I came to learn what's the difference between self-publishing and the
You never
normal
thought of
publishing.
publishing in Arabic?
Pardon?
You didn't think about publishing in Arabic?
Not really. Actually, I was thinking of having like a mix of English and Arabic, but then I was like, let me focus on one thing, for now. And maybe if God is willing, this book can be in Arabic as well.
Yeah. But you
Yeah.
first, I think your natural outpour of emotions was probably in English. That's where the first version, of course, is. If it comes out in Arabic, it will be a translation, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, because everything, not everything, but my thoughts are in English,
Hmm. Yeah.
So having to to come and to say it out loud and have to think about it and translate it. But it's not that I can't write in Arabic. I do
Hmm.
write, but not as eloquently as
Of course.
writing in
So yeah,
English.
they
Yeah.
say the primary language for a human being is the language that they happen to think in. So, I think
Yeah. Okay.
that and especially poetry is really an outpour of emotions. So whatever comes out naturally is what will come out. So yes, going back to your journey as a for publishing. So sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. It's okay. So when that happened, I just kept browsing through the internet. I came to learn that with traditional publishing, you submit your work and
Hmm.
they get to pick and choose. If they like it, they go with it. If they don't, then it doesn't get published.
Hmm.
With self-publication, you have to cover all the costs for it. So I reached
Hmm.
out to this company. Unfortunately, they don't have social media, but
Hmm.
I found them and I read about their packages and everything, and I felt comfortable with what I saw. So I just reached out to them, and we've been working through the course of probably 1 year, back and
Hmm.
forth through emails because they're based in the US, and
Right.
they said they also keep their books in Amazon, and that struck an idea that okay, I can reach a larger audience through Amazon.
Hmm.
That's good,
Interesting.
but for now I'm just focusing here in Oman.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was the process. It was just back and forth through emails. A few times it was on Skype.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that was that. It took some time,
Right.
especially that throughout Corona hit.
Hmm.
I wasn't fully done, and a few things were left. Corona hit. I was planning for things to hold an event and things like that, but it was very difficult. So the process had to stop for a short while. That period of time, everyone went through shutdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so I published the book late. I came to publish it in 2021, in January 2021.
Hmm.
So that was like a year off from publishing the book. Yeah, it took some time, but I'm happy with the results.
Yeah. So, where all are your books? Is your book available? I'm sorry. which all regions can people buy it in? That's something that I think you should share here.
Currently, I have some copies with me, but I only have a few left for
So
as
I
stock.
assume, yes, Oman, if people want to buy within Oman, they reach out to you on Instagram DM. But since you said it's through Amazon, which other regions and countries is it would your book be available in for people to buy?
All countries. If you can order from Amazon, all countries. Yeah, it's available in two forms actually: paperback and ebook. If you have
Excellent.
Tinder, what is it called? Kindle.
Kindle.
Sorry. If you have Kindle, you can download the book from there. It's also on Amazon.
Excellent. That's actually really good to know. So great. I mean, for
Yeah.
people who are joining in now, her book is available on Amazon globally and on Kindle, so it's available across all regions. Great. Let's take in a few comments in the meanwhile. Caroline Frost again says, beautiful interview so far. Thank you so much, Caroline. That's really encouraging. We have a question, and let's take this right here in the middle of the chat.
Okay.
Sorry, that's the one. Urjit Singh Bhatia asks, what book would you like to see as a movie? Any favorites?
What book?
Actually,
Uh,
we were going to ask you later what kind of books do you like to read. Maybe this fits in there, but since it's appeared now, let's take it.
the thing is, the books I currently read, they're not story based. They're more related into like religion, Islam, politics,
Hmm,
poetry. I
yeah,
don't think those can be movies.
they can be documentaries.
Yeah, but there's a book that I really loved. There is already a movie out. It's the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Okay,
That one I
that
highly
could be it.
recommend.
Yeah. Okay, there are a couple of more questions from our members, but I will go forward in the chat because somewhat related conversation is following, and then we will take up those questions that will be kind of related to what I'm going to ask you. So,
Okay.
I would like to know what inspires you. Are the poems inspired by real life experiences, things you see around you? Because that's human nature. We end up expressing what we observe, we feel, we experience. So, what inspires you?
I can say my surroundings, mm, imagination, and my life. Because I remember during writing, I tried to. I was thinking I should everything around me can be inspiring if I look at it that way.
Hmm.
And it could be so simple. It doesn't have to be something complicated, you know. Like I have a poem, for example. It's called the tree,
Hmm.
and it symbolizes how one should be as strong and stand as tall and not forget your roots and such things. And then there are other time I would during that time, it was my teenage years, so I think every teenager goes through that internal conflict. I
Hmm.
would write that down. And some other poems were just based on dreams. Really, they have no meaning. It's just I had a dream, I woke up, and I felt like translating it on paper.
How lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. How nice. So, um, before we go further, there's something related. Rukia asks, what inspired you to write poetry? I know you partly answered this when you were talking about your journey about the book. You were debating whether to write short stories or poem, but let's answer Rukia here.
What inspired me to write poetry? I think when I chose what to pursue, whether I should choose between those three, and we have come with the outcome that I should probably go with poetry.
Hmm.
That that made me want to write more, and so I kept writing more. And I also read Maya Angelou's poems.
Oh, nice.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. I loved them so much, and I felt okay. She makes me feel like I want to sit down and write something.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about it. Yeah.
Something related to this is just following and in our questions also. So I'll move on to my next question. Um, would you like to read something from the book for us?
Yeah, sure.
And
I will read a poem
this is just
called A Sincere Message.
something
It
that
says,
Caroline also.
I should answer. I can see the question, by the way.
Yeah, I just brought it on the screen. Caroline says, "What poem are you loving right now?" Which is one of your, what is your favorite poem? But we'll come to that later. Would you read one of yours? So yeah.
Okay, sure. This one is called The Sincere Message. This is it, the beginning of an end, the end you've all been waiting for, an end that will soon get you one step closer to your dreams. You have outcome your greatest fear, failure. From nothing but a mere carefree infant, blossoming into your own self, crafting your own path, erasing the mistakes, rewriting better things above. In a constant war between painting your future or perhaps your way up to here. May the One continue to shower us with blessings, drain out our misery. Our dreams being fulfilled are what we need to be washed over with. I, your fellow mate, or perhaps a friend, congratulate you all for your achievements. I believe each individual in this room will be something bigger. Role models, the pride of our country, the vision of our leader, the future of our land. No one is a failure, no one has failed. For in life, we either win or learn. Instill these words carefully. Let nothing in front of you stop. Don't feel blue for not having excelled in everything. Just like the stars require two elements to burn bright enough, oh, how bright it blinds. Thank you, God, for helping us, for bequeathing it, the stars too, for it being miles away, or I would have gone crossed eyes. Some things are great enough from afar. So, as we individuals today tear down you, let nothing restrain you. Wired you are, remember, not for everything. Do you, do what you're good at, perfected with your own touch of flair.
Beautiful.
Thank
Really,
you.
really beautiful. Um, uh, really beautiful composition, and I'm very intrigued by your choice of words, not just by what you just read to us, but as I said, I had begun reading and I skipped and read poems from in between.
Yeah.
So, tell us something about your literary influences, because the choice of words, the vocabulary, the thoughts really are very fascinating. Um, so, what kind of books do you like to read? And do you think your writing style is inspired by what you read largely? Because you just named Maya Angelou, and as an add-on to my question, I'm going to just bring on screen some things which are asked by our members and quite related to the question. Nazakat asked, "What is your favorite poet?" You did mention Maya Angelou, but anybody else you would like to add? And what is your favorite poem by Sakshi? So I'll summarize the question again for you. Tell us about your literary
Mm-hmm.
influences. What do you love to read yourself? Who is your favorite? What's your favorite poem? Who is your favorite poet? And do you think your writing style is inspired by what you read to some extent?
My reading actually went through big changes. I started out reading nonfiction. I mean, fiction. I
Very nice.
started out reading fiction books, stories. That
Hmm.
went into reading nonfiction. And then I
Hmm.
was introduced to autobiographies. I remember reading the autobiography of Malcolm X, and that was like a turning point in my life. That changed my perspective on a lot of things.
Hmm.
From then I started reading in Arabic novels
Hmm.
and poems. I recommend Gibran Khalil Gibran. I really, really, really love his work. It's amazing. It's so inspiring, honestly. And the I read it in Arabic though. I think he
Uh,
wrote it in English, but I've read the book in Arabic, and I just love the choice of words, and I love the way he described things. And I know this one short thing about him. I remember learning about him in class is that he he had a lover that he never met, and then he happened to die, and then 20 years later his lover died. They only talked through letters. That was, and I love letters, you know? So that for me was like, okay, wow, this is, I can't believe that, you know, this all happened back in time. It feels like it's just a story, it's just from a movie.
True. True.
I loved his books. And right now I'm reading, I actually finished reading Persian love poems. I really love poems as well. The way it's also from the past. I love the way things. And
Yeah.
right now
Yeah.
I'm reading a book called Islam and Politics. It's a big change, you know. It's a big non-fiction to autobiographies, poetry, and now I'm just reading about religious things.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very diverse, of course. I think that's where,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the reading is like living thousand lives, as obviously my passion for books is evident by what I'm doing. So, yeah, I mean, the more diverse you read, and I'm a very, very firm believer of that, that if you enjoy thrillers, for instance, I would push you to try romance. If you enjoy non-fiction, I would say, okay, do try fiction. So the diversity of what you have read is extremely beautiful, and that's, I think, that reflects in your thoughts and your personality. So just a quick reminder to people who are watching, the giveaway will close in another 5 minutes. If you haven't participated yet, do participate and get a chance to win an author signed copy by Najma. There are a couple of comments and reactions on the poem when you were reading the verse. That's
Okay.
yeah. Tenny Tony says that's so beautiful,
Thank you.
and same comment from Rukia. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So sweet of you guys.
Um, you started. Sorry. Yes, sorry. Yeah, you started writing your book when you were around 15 years. What's your first poem?
It's called Differences. It's the same poem I participated with in the competition and got second place.
Hmm.
It's the first one in the book as well.
It's the first one in the book. So, right.
Yeah.
Uh, I think we don't have time to read that, but if we have time at the end, we'll read that too. Okay. How long did you take to write this book? That's a comment from maybe one of our team members because it appears in the name of the club. So I'll still take it.
Okay.
Hmm.
Um, the thing is that I had these poems and they didn't really have it was all over the place, you know. It wasn't in a specific one place. So
Hmm.
I just collected them so I can
Hmm.
send it to the publisher. And I filtered out the poems that I felt I was focusing on the quality
Hmm.
of the poems more than I was, because I have a
Hmm.
lot, but
Yeah.
it was just, you know, it's not good to just put in for the sake of having a big number, a big quantity. So I was very focused on the quality. I would take the poems that I previously wrote, and if it needs any adjustment, because the thought process as well was I want the reader to be able to enjoy the poetry without having to carry a dictionary every 2 minutes. You know, what is this? What is that? We'll
Hmm.
include like few words here and there, but overall, in general, you can understand without having to pick up a
Yeah.
dictionary. So that
True.
was the thought process. I would take old poems and I would rewrite them maybe again, or
Yeah.
I would just write it later and I would combine them in one place and filter it out for the sake of the book.
Yeah. In fact, to be very honest, yes, I would agree. I think the choice, the I don't know that I'm not getting the right word, but I think it's a very fine balance between very heavy literature and light literature, if that's the right way of putting it, because it's very, very
Mhm.
balanced. It's enriching. It's not too light. It's enriching to read, and yet it's not as heavy or difficult, like you said, that you have to sit with a dictionary. So yes, really for a very, it's acting. I think I would say it's for all. So it's for everyone.
Yes.
So yeah. So another question, just a couple of reactions again to your answer. Amazing, Pink Tulip says. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, Interesting question there from Webhavi. Have you finished the any one poems in one sitting in one go, or is it a combination of your thoughts over a period of time?
Most of them I finished them in one go. If I
Is it?
would go back to them, is it's not because I want to add something. Most of
Hmm.
them, it's mostly to just recheck again because the first one is a draft, you know. But
Hmm.
a lot of the poems I would just write it in one go.
Wow. Just a little bit of appreciation from Caroline Trust. Thanks, Caroline, for yeah. And yeah, that's the response from Webhavi. Well,
Thank you.
okay. Um, you're studying logistics and you're writing for your passion. One thought comes to your mind is, do you think writing could become a full-time career for you? Do you think that's a path that is doable and you might like to take?
As a full time career, I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think so. If I would pursue as a full time career, it would be just literature in general, not just
Hmm.
specific in writing, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. A very interesting question from one of our members. Tenny Tony asks, poems are generally rhythmic. So do you sing?
I do, actually.
Wow. All right. I'm not going to do the next obvious thing of asking you to sing and embarrass you here because this is more about other chat. But yes, when we meet you offline, we would love to hear you sing sometime. Okay. So, what's up next? What can we look forward to? Any other book on the anvil or nothing planned? Is there something that people who enjoy your first book, typically when people enjoy an author's one book, they want to read more. So, is there something that your readers can look forward to?
Currently, I'm focusing on this book.
Hmm.
I'm focusing on this book, honestly, and I'm focusing on it, as I said, here in Oman, and then I'll try to go with it globally as well, hence why it's on Amazon. And then from there, it's either I publish a second book
Hmm.
or I republish this book again, but in Arabic.
Hmm.
So, yeah, to reach a larger audience, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
don't know if it's necessarily going to be poetry, the second book. It
Okay.
may or may not
That
be.
yeah, that's something I was interested to know, whether it's poetry or something else. We don't know right now.
It may or may not be poetry.
Okay. One of our very active members. This is Kunj Thakur from her dad's ID, Manish Thakur. Thank you for joining, Kunj.
So,
Okay. So I think it's time for announcing our giveaway winner. Are we ready? You would have
yes.
received on your WhatsApp the list of participants. Um, and you might like to check a message on the WhatsApp I've just sent. So those are the list of winners, which you can. It's
Think
yeah. I'm saying we sent you the list of participants on WhatsApp, so you can choose a winner from there. In the
okay.
meanwhile, I'm just going to take a couple of comments. Trupti, our one of our team members, shares. It's a pleasure to hear from you, and nice to know what that you sing too, as your voice is too beautiful.
Oh, that's very sweet of you. Thank you.
Okay. So, do you have the winner ready?
Yes. The
So,
winner
we are
is going to be Ahlam02_1235.
excellent. Yay! Congratulations, Ahlam.
Congratulations,
I hope
Ahlam.
you are watching. All right. Yes. Oh, pink tulip is Ahlam. I just got a message from. Say hello,
Okay.
Ahlam. Say that's me. Thank you, so that we can put you on the screen. Yeah, great. I think typically there's a delay in the live relay. So,
Mm.
um, again, congratulations, Ahlam, for winning the giveaway, and you will get it very soon. We will be in touch with you for that. Anything else, Najma, that you would like to add from your side?
I would just like to add that you shouldn't give up on what you love, even if you're doing something else. Find find time to do it. Don't don't give yourself excuses. Oh, I'm going to deal with it later. The next thing you know, time passes and you haven't done anything. So do the things that make you feel most alive.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. If you love something enough, it will happen. I love to
Yeah.
quote the Paulo Coelho from The Alchemist because that's been a life philosophy, even though it's a fiction book. If you want something enough, the universe conspires to get you to it. So I completely agree with that. So
Yes.
it's been really wonderful talking to you, Ajma, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And once again, thank you for this personally signed copy, which I would like to show off. Thank you so much. It's going to be a
Thank you for
cherished
having me.
possession,
Thank
and
you
we
so
wish
much.
you all the very best for your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. See you
Have a
soon.
good time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.
So, thank you everyone for joining us today. It's been a pleasure and wonderful interactive chat. And do tune in to the next episode where we will talk to the author of a very unique book, award winning novelist of Iceman Awakens, inspired by Otsai's archaeological finds, Sharon Krasny. I began reading the book and I'm really fascinated with this super historical event. And do Google Otzi, Otzi, and you will be really fascinated about the subject too. You can find Sharon Krasny's book on Kindle, I'm sure. And we will talk to her. The live chat with Sharon is scheduled for the 29th of March at 8 p.m. and a prologue for the same on IG Live on 27th March at 8 p.m. again. Thank you all. See you in a week. Good night.